So today, let's talk about stimulus. That's one of the big questions I've been getting from many people. And of course it is. With the current state of our economy, with businesses laying off people left and right, with credit card debt at all-time highs, housing is still unattainable to many people. Of course, many people are wondering, is the U.S. going to send out more stimulus? Especially being that we have an election just right around the corner. Well, today we're going to discuss that because yes, there are some talks, there are some discussions happening about stimulus. However, I want to be very clear on something. I don't see an actual stimulus check coming your way, but there's alternatives. So I'm going to break down what these alternatives are, why these are coming our way here in the near future, and what we can expect looking forward. So I'll break all this down in just a moment, but all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates, and now let's begin. So stimulus, that is the question so many people have, and they want it now. Well, here's where we're at. As of right now, we see the U.S. government having alternatives. They're not going to give you an actual check. If you think you're going to get $2,000 coming your way, well, you are mistaken. That's not going to happen in one lump sum. But here's what they're discussing. So right now we have two potential presidential candidates. Okay, the two front runners. We have former President Donald Trump and we have current Vice President Kamala Harris. Now, both of these parties have their ideas as to how things should go moving forward. But I'm not going to talk a lot about former President Donald Trump. I think we know a lot about what he's done, to the economy, how he's helped, what has really worked when he was president. So I'm going to discuss a little bit of him, but I want to touch on what Vice President Kamala Harris is pushing for. Because again, these are the alternatives. This is what many people are talking about. And what she's proposing is stuff that could work. However, she would likely need the support of Republicans. The same goes for Republicans if they propose this exact same thing and have in the past. But they would need support from Democrats. So let's get right down to it. First off, let's just get it out of the way because these are the most simple ones. Former President Donald Trump, he wants to eliminate taxes on Social Security income and on workers' tips. Okay, just flat out eliminate taxes on tips, eliminate taxes on Social Security income. Simple enough. He also is trying to get more tax incentives for businesses, which could actually help reduce the prices of their products. So if they have more tax incentives and they're pushing those savings off to you, then the prices should go down. We would see deflation. That's pretty good, right? Well, yes. Now, here's where things get interesting. These are some of the alternatives that Democrats are proposing at this time. And again, do I think we're going to get a $2,000 stimulus check? Absolutely not. A $600 check? No. Do I think we're going to get some savings, some tax breaks, some credits? Yeah, because here's what they're discussing. Now, this is just Vice President Kamala Harris's, her economic plan. Now, I want to be very clear on something. Not all this stuff is going to pass. Even if she is not the president and former President Donald Trump is, or let's say somebody else, these things can still pass because there has been bipartisan support on these in the past. Just look at this. So the first one that Vice President Kamala Harris wants to do, raise taxes for higher income earners and use this money to actually help the middle class. Now, is there bipartisan support on this? There is actually support to raise the taxes for especially Social Security taxes for higher income earners, but not just go from $167,000 where it is now to $400,000 because there's a big gap in the middle that would not be taxed. What Republicans have said is if you want to tax the millionaires and billionaires, that's fine, but we have to include everybody up to that point, not skip over a large portion of the American people. So we'll see what happens there. They want to raise the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%. That is something that would, again, need bipartisan support. That money would then go again to help the middle class. Now, here's where things get very interesting, because these are where there is a lot of bipartisan support. One of them, Vice President Kamala Harris, wants to restore the expanded child tax credit payments. If you remember, the child tax credit payments, or the expanded child tax credit payments, were monthly payments, I believe in 2021, monthly payments. They were either, you'd get a total of $3,600 for a child between the ages of 0 and 5, and you'd get $3,000 for any child between the ages of 6 and 17. Now, she wants to increase the current tax credit from $2,000 to as much as $3,600. So people with children would benefit from this. Like I said, are you going to get a $2,000 check? No. But could you get a child tax credit? Yes. That's what you could get. Again, a credit. Here's the other one. She wants to give a tax credit of up to $6,000 for newborns. That is huge. Do you think this increases the amount of people looking to have a child if they know they're going to get a $6,000 tax credit? Yeah. This will likely contribute to growth here in the U.S. Now, we're probably not going to see 10 million babies born in the next year, but again, could we see some growth? Absolutely. Here's another one. This is one that is somewhat, people are skeptical about this. But Vice President Kamala Harris wants to put a federal ban on price gouging for food and groceries. This is something that I don't see it really happening as a federal ban, because how do you implement this? What constitutes price gouging? How can you tell if somebody is overpaying for their products, so when they sell it at the grocery store or at a restaurant, how do you know it's price gouging? That's the difficult part. So, this is something that she says would really help the lower and middle income earners, but as of right now, I just don't see it happening. But this is one of her alternatives to stimulus, is she'll just bring down your expenses. I told you this before when current President Joe Biden, he said everybody on Social Security should be getting $200 per month for 2 years. Okay? So that was going to be $4,800 that you would have received if you were on Social Security. That never happened. But the White House came out and said that, yeah, he's provided over $200 in monthly benefits, but it wasn't as a check. You got a cost of living adjustment, right? Another cost of living adjustment, right? You've received, four cost of living adjustments under the Biden administration, 3 or 4, right? So you factor all those in, that puts you over $100 in increases for the average Social Security beneficiary. But then on top of that, they brought down the cost of prescription medication, brought down the cost of insulin. So if you got that, they've helped and pushed the increases for food stamps and SNAP benefits. So if you combine all those things, yeah, you may have received over $200 in monthly benefits. But again, it's an alternative to an actual stimulus check. Here's another one. If you want to buy a home, Vice President Kamala Harris and Democrats are proposing $2,500 in down payment assistance for first-time home buyers. Republicans are actually for this. Republicans would be happy to go and extend a down payment assistance program, but who would actually benefit from this and who would actually be eligible? That's the big thing. Democrats want just, okay, yeah, you make this much money, you're eligible. Republicans say, no, we need to be a little more strict. That if you make $250,000, you can probably afford, a $200,000 or $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 home. You'd be okay because you can still put down potentially, 3 to 5%. You don't need 20% down, right? In this day and age, how many people are putting 20% down on a home? Very few. So you buy a $250,000 or $400,000 home, you could probably get away with paying a $20,000 down payment, right? Again, that's just where we're at. Here's the next one. A $2,000 per year cap on all out-of-pocket expenses for prescription medication. And this is a big one, okay? They want to, again, $35 per month for insulin. Everybody. Not just the elderly, not just people on Social Security, not just people on Medicare. Everybody pays the same price. That's interesting. But guess what? Republicans also are not opposed to a cap on prescription medication. Okay? They would support this. They kind of have in the past as well. Remember? It was a bipartisan bill that got passed. Here's the next one. Vice President Kamala Harris wants to end taxes on tips. Exactly what former President Donald Trump wants, she wants as well. She just mentioned this the other day. Now, I bring this to your attention because a lot of people, again, are asking for stimulus. You're not getting stimulus. What you're going to get is a stimulus alternative. This is what it's going to look like. A bunch of tax cuts, some credits, maybe bringing your expenses down. That is what you're going to see. And it doesn't matter if it's under the Harris administration, under the Trump administration, or somebody completely different. That's what you're going to get. As we see more businesses lay off employees, as people are struggling to keep up with inflation, as they can't afford homes and food and medication, you're going to receive some type of alternative to stimulus. And this is likely what it's going to be. So that's what I have for you guys today. Again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing. And I'll see you guys on the next one.